Hello. Welcome to my channel, TV-DICTION, where we talk about my latest TV obsessions. As you can tell from the title, today we'll be discussing Reasonable Doubt Season 2, Episode 2, entitled Say Hello. But child, it really should have been called Flight Risk because she's a runner, she's a track star. Chanel done flew the coop. Let's get into it. Before we dive right into episode 2, here's a very brief recap of episode 1. Jax got cleared to go back into work just in time because she received a phone call from one of her best friends, Chanel, that she just killed her husband. Jax and Lewis are in couples therapy, and we also got introduced to Corey, played by the ever so fine Mr. Morris Chestnut. Okay, now that we got that brief recap out of the way, let's get into this episode entitled Say Hello. So, Jax introduces Corey Cash to the rest of the partners and informed them that he's going to be taking over Chanel's case. Corey instantly wins over the partners, and him being a Nepo baby also helped his graces because the partners were easily smitten by him and they were already familiar who his father was. Jack's introduction of Corey didn't go well with Chanel. However, she did come around after a moving speech about him wanting to get her home to her kids. Jax and Lewis are still going strong in therapy. The topic of intimacy is at the forefront now. Like I said in the last video, I want to be rooting for Lewis, but certain things make me side-eye him. Like when the therapist brought up the idea of intimacy, I feel like he answered that with a no a little too quickly and was ready to throw Jax under the bus, talking about it's been dry and she hasn't even made an attempt or tried. Like, sir, can you read the room? She's been going through a lot. I know he's a man and he has his needs, but I'm going to need him to use his hands and be patient with our girl, okay? She's been through some trauma, and sorry to that man, but sex isn't on her top priority list right now, okay? Like, please, I feel like the reason that he hasn't, committed to moving back into the house is because they have yet to be intimate since everything went down, and that's really not fair to her. Well, moving on to Corey and Jax. Corey and Jax did disagree on the approach to Chanel's defense or helping her, where Corey would have wanted Chanel to stay in jail. However, Jax felt that she should post bail. Not going to lie, I didn't like the way that Corey was able to just walk in and off rip, just start acting like he's on the place from day one and stuff. And I know that didn't sit well with Jax either, because I can only imagine, like, as a black woman, how much she's had to persevere and endure to end up at the partner's table. And here comes this new guy walking in and winning them over in 2.5 seconds. However, that's all coming from an ego standpoint. And Jax was wrong for going around him and getting Chanel to post bail. Mind you, they couldn't even come up with the money for real, right? They had to have some sort of estate sales selling JT shoes and watches and stuff, and then Chanel's cousin had to put her house up as collateral. Since Jax pulled Corey into this case, she really should have trusted his approach and put her ego aside. Corey rightfully did call Jax out for going behind her back, because why hire me if you're not going to trust me, to do the job? And Jax is too emotionally involved with the case, as Corey pointed out, as anyone should be, because in all honesty, one of her best friends is really about to be put up on trial for murder, so she would be nothing but emotional towards that. We got a tearful reunion between Chanel and her kids, and also a street rallying moment with Chanel, Jax, and the other girls. I love that their friendship circle is standing up for her and rallying behind her and assisting her in keeping her spirits up, because Chanel is really going to need it, especially throughout this whole ordeal. Like in the last episode, more details on the case are being revealed, and it's not really looking good for Chanel. There was a $30 million transfer from JT's foundation that, as of right now, people didn't know where it went or why it got transferred. After a failed therapy exercise, which called for Jax and Lewis to take 5 minutes and stare into each other, Lewis basically told Jax in not so many words that he slept with someone else. He actually got sassy with it and, told her to figure it out. No, I think he said, you're smart, figure it out. And he basically said that to hurt her. And I get it. He wanted Jax to take the exercise serious, but he didn't need to try to hurt her, especially after the therapist was like, we don't need to, keep count, and we don't need to do this tit for tat, right? After Lewis walked out on that exercise and, with his revelation in not so many words, we do see that Jax ended up having a nightmare about the whole kidnapping situation and waking up in like a panic sweat with an anxiety attack. And, I've said this before and I'm going to continue saying it. Like, Lewis is not showing Jax enough grace, okay? He needs to be more patient with our girl. Okay, Chanel attends JT's funeral where she exchanged words with his mother. And she was also greeted with an angry mob. And that was really unfortunate for her because she was really just trying to be there for her daughters. And you know what? All too often, mothers stand by their son's side, right, wrong, or indifferent. And it's really so disgusting at times because for his mother to be privy about the abuse that her son was causing Chanel, but then have the nerve to sit there and say that I wish it was you in that casket is really beyond me. Like, as a woman, how could you? I get it. It was your son, but you knew the horrible person that he was. You just sat there and watched it happen. And now because it hit a boiling point, he is gone. But you're saying you wish it was her instead? Like, so you wish your son would have took her life? Like, be so for real right now. That really rubbed me the wrong way with his mother. Okay, things aren't really looking good for Chanel because after a cryptic phone call where we hear her say, that thing we talked about, you were right, I'm ready. We find out that the $30 million that was missing from JT's account was actually moved to Chanel's account, which was only accessible to her, and the last few of it was transferred 6 days before his death. She also stopped by her cousin's house to basically say goodbye. By the end of the episode, Jax and Lewis were able to get intimate with one another, and she asked him to officially move back in. So we're going to have to see in the later episodes if that actually happens. Then Jax get a call from both Corey and Sally asking about Chanel's whereabouts. Baby, she's a runner. She's a track star. Chanel done flew the coop, okay? Chanel is on the run, and that's how the episode ends. Baby, they gave us another jam-packed episode. So far, it's not disappointing, and I'm looking forward to dive into the other episodes. I think episodes 3, 4, and 5 are also up. So once I get into those, you also will get a recap here. Let me know down in the comments what you think about episode 2. Have you started watching the season? Will you be watching? Thank you for watching.